going on, people? It is the Nicholas Pasakis Chelsea Football Channel, and today we're going to be looking at my overall reaction to this Chelsea versus Arsenal game yesterday afternoon, and I want to go back and look at some of the players' overall ratings since the previous international break. I remember last international break I made a overall report basically of how I thought all the players played and gave them a 1 through 10 ratings basically since then. And I want to do the same thing then. Like I said then, I want to make it a regular thing every international break. We go back over certain players and we basically rate them how they played. I'm going to go on the Chelsea account and I'm going to look through the entire squad and we're going to give players one by one and give them ratings. I think that's pretty fair. And I think it's a fun way to, update us on how we think the players have played since that point. But before that, I wanna go over how I think this Chelsea versus Arsenal game was. Now, in this Chelsea game, whether you think Chelsea or Arsenal were better in this one, it really is your opinion. Because going into this game, I thought Chelsea had a fantastic chance to be able to come out of this game with a victory. However, we salvaged a draw. And I say salvaged because, of course, Pedro Neto scored a wonder goal at the end of the game. Now, does that tell you everything you need to know about this game? I don't think so. Of course, both teams had opportunities to score. In the first one for Chelsea came in the first few minutes, I think around like 15 minutes in. Pedro Neto, speaking about him again, dude, he whipped in a great cross for Malo Gusto, who got a header on the ball, free header basically, not a good enough defending. And somehow, from like 2 yards out, he puts the ball above the post or above the crossbar, and it goes about 30 feet into the away end. Now, how he missed it is going to be stuck in my brain for about, until the Leicester game for the next 13 days. How did he miss that open of a header? It makes you think. If any other player was there, they put it in. Now, if Reece James was starting, which we'll get into a second, does he score? Does he score? That's not even a debate, in my opinion. Of course, Reece James scores, but the it's still from 2 yards. You should be heading it in. It should be 1-0 within first 15 minutes, and then the entire complexity of this game changes. Arsenal will go down again in the game, and their away form had been horrible going into this one. And the fact is, like I had said, Arsenal in the previous game had 17 corners, I'm almost certain, and they could not take chances. It was horrible. They got beat by Inter's B team, and it almost seemed like it was going to be a win. Now, we went down, I think, around 31 minutes in due to Kai Havertz's goal. It was unexcusable defense, but it was called offside. It was offside, but the fact is, the defense was horrible. The defense there, people were sleeping. We were literally, I think it was either Colwell or Fofana, either one of the two, who both, in my opinion, had great games. Don't get me wrong. But one of those two were napping on the play. Kai Havertz got free and he scored. But after that point, he shushed us and he shushed himself, basically, dude. The guy was dreadful. After that 31-minute span, Kai Havertz was nowhere to be seen except getting bodied by the Chelsea players. We hate this guy. We gave him nothing but love, this guy, Kai Havertz. And he's done nothing but absolutely try and batter us. He won a Champions League. He scored the most important goal of his career so far, and instead it has meant nothing to him. Like he said, he would love to win the Champions League at Arsenal before he would Chelsea, even though he will never win a Champions League at Arsenal because it's impossible for Arsenal to win trophies, just like Tottenham. And can we all laugh at Tottenham for a second? They lost 2-1 to Ipswich. Yeah, Ipswich. How is that even possible? Flashback now to when we draw or we lose to Ipswich later this season. But sticking on the main topic at hand, first half was 0-0, but going into this, they get the first goal of the game. Would you call it a blunder? I wouldn't call it a blunder. The offside trap, I think it was either Cucurella or somebody who keeps them onside. Martinelli onside. It's a great pick out by Odegaard, is it a Rob Sanchez fault? Does he not make his body big enough? I think so. If I had to go on a limb, I would probably put most of the blame on Rob Sanchez in this one, in this goal. He needs to come out more and he needs to make himself big. Martinelli basically has a free, wide open shot at net because Rob Sanchez just stays on his line. He doesn't make his body big, and instead it's an easy for Martinelli. He's easy. But not much later, Enzo Fernandez comes on for Romeo Lavia, and what happens? We create a chance. And it's not a pure chance where we were on a counterattack or breaking through the lines. It's bad defending from Arsenal. Kai Havertz is standing still, and I think it's whoever, I think Trossard on the other side, they let Neto run straight through the middle. Nobody picks up the runner in Neto, and he slots it. Nobody closes it down. They don't get in front of the ball, and Neto places it in the bottom right corner. Raya has no chance. His team doesn't help him, and Arsenal screw themselves once again. Pedro Neto, my player of the match in this one. Obviously, Marc Cucurella was named player of the match in this one, but Cucurella was great. Neto was everywhere in this game. I think it's only right that he's the guy who gets this player of the match award, in my opinion. Insane game from him. But Enzo's the one who plays the ball in. Of course, I think Enzo was very, very good. The manager said it himself. He was excellent when he came on, and I agreed with him. Not only did he get the assist, but I think he was making good tackles. He was playing good passes. I think he had a very, very good second half when he came on. Of course, we are a lot more stable, and we won the midfield battle when Lavi and Caicedo won. But I think we basically won the midfield battle the entire way. As it got to the end of the game, I think we were starting to slip a little bit because I think it wasn't really much of a fatigue thing, but I think our mental focus was just it was starting to drip or trip away. But I don't think that has much to do with how we this midfield battle won. I think that Caicedo and Lavi did great playing against Partey and Rice. And talk about the amount of money we spend, dude. Caicedo is clear of Rice right now. He's clear. If Caicedo played on Arsenal, dude, not even a chance they would not be talking about him in the media as much as they do it. Guys like Declan Rice. Not even a chance. I think also some of it has to do with Declan Rice being English, but and let's put it, Caicedo's clear. Lavia will soon be clear. And if Enzo can keep playing like he did yesterday, he will soon be clear. It's that simple. But we do get the draw. They almost win it at the end, but they don't. Thank God Leandro Trossard is a 12th man today. Secret agent in surprise, dude. I don't know what he was doing there at the end. I think he didn't know that somebody was behind him. That was the only reason for it because Kai Havertz would have gotten the winner, and I would have absolutely been in distraught. We all would have been in distraught if he had gotten that goal. But it didn't happen. We get the 1-1 draw. And overall, like I had said, I would have loved to get the win. It didn't happen, but we can't give it away. We can't give away the result. It's a result that when we look forward, we could build off these kind of results. The United one needs to be a win. This one, I had more faith in it being a draw than a win, but I wanted the win as well. Now we get an easier run of plays. We play Leicester, which almost certainly needs to be a win. If United can beat Leicester basically twice in a 2-week span, we could sure as hell beat Leicester City. And then I think we play Villa. And Villa have been a great team, but they've been slipping. They've taken bad loss and bad loss and bad loss in a row. Their form has been pretty dreadful. I'm not sure about their injuries, but they've been pretty much slacking these last few weeks. Not in the Champions League, but in the league they've been slipping. So what I want to see is from Chelsea's form after they've had a pretty hard stretch of play, I want to see them turn up, and that needs to happen this upcoming matter of games. But overall, how do I think that some players played from this one? Let's just go from the entire lineup. Robert Sanchez was okay. Nothing extraordinary. He wasn't special, but I think most of the first goal first goal, I'll say, it was his fault. I'm going to put more of the fault on him. Of course, there should have been a runner tracking Martinelli and not keeping him onside. But at the same time, he needs to make his body bigger. And that's going to be a consistent theme with Rob Sanchez. And I think this defense as well. Those are consistent things that need to change. But he gets around a 5. I don't think he was horrible. He made some okay saves, but he needs to do better on the conceded goal. It's that simple. Cucurella was named player of the match, and for good reason. Saka got clamped. He got the collar put on him. Cucurella was holding him on a dog leash. Couldn't let him go nowhere. He couldn't go anywhere. Cucurella locked his ass up. He gets an 8 out of 10 performance today. I think it could even be a 9, man. Cucurella was amazing. Absolutely brilliant stuff. I think Colwill can easily get a 6 or a 7. I think that he did great after getting a yellow card early to stay within the entire match. Fofana, actually, I think Colwell gets a 6. I think Fofana can easily get a 7 or 8. This was easily Fofana's, I think, best game since his ACL tear. Could even put it up there for one of his best matches of his Chelsea career. I think you could even go that far. I think he was brilliant. He even almost got a ridiculously good Holland-esque goal by hitting it with the right inside of his boot while trying to jump for the ball. Almost incredible. Almost. I say almost for a reason because it was so close that you're just over the bar. Then you had Malo Gusto, who played at right back. Now, I think Malo Gusto played pretty well. But the question was when we saw the lineup, why wasn't Reece starting? I think what Maresca said, it was a tactical decision and stuff like that. But I think some of it has to do with he in this game, he wanted somebody who wanted to invert. He realized that Cucurella was basically too good to be in the B team, and he couldn't keep him off of he couldn't keep him off the A team, and he proved that he has to be one of the top 5 guys on the team sheet every week. And I think he wanted somebody to invert to the midfield. He knew that Saka needed to have somebody behind him, and look what happened. He got clamped because of Cucurella, and Gusto became the guy who emerged into that midfield. Now, do I think it was a good idea to have Gusto come on instead of Reece? Now, to play that inverted role, I think Reece might need more time, but I don't see why he didn't just have Cucurella do it. Why didn't he just have Cucurella invert and Reece James play the same role? You could look at it the same way. Would there be less coverage on Saka? Will that increase the pressure on us through their attack? I think those are questions that need to be answered as well. I think there's a good chance that that's the reason that it didn't happen and Cucurella didn't invert. But I think for the rest of the season, it may need to look that way because I think that Gusto just cannot be starting games over Reece James. It can't be happening. Obviously, we said they've been great. They're good. Gusto said he's great friends with Reece James, but at the same time, you need to learn when to play the captain. He's the captain of the team for a reason. So I think Reece James needs to start, but I think Gusto at least gets a 6 out of 10. I thought he was okay today. Again, Caicedo has a brilliant performance in this one. Nothing short of spectacular. Another 7 out of 10 performance. This guy in day out, week in week out. This guy is giving 7 out of 10 performances. Like you could even give him an 8. He was brilliant again, easily showing why he's a clamping in that midfield. Lavia can easily get a 6 as well. Both of those guys as a defensive pairing have been brilliant together, but they're the more defensive, structured roles together in the pivot. I think that easily we look like a lot better defensive team when they are on the field together. But I think that makes sense when they both are more of a sitting back type, even though both of them can get forward pretty well and play good passes. But I think that also it's a lot more structured, and Caicedo can play a little bit more freely when he's with Lavia. Going up now, it's crazy to say, but our best player, Cole Palmer, has been, he's been slacking. I mean, again, you can look at it from the previous game last week against United and say, well, we thought he was majorly injured and out for a little while. But again, he wasn't. He came and he played the full 90. Now, do I think that was a good decision? I don't think so. I think Nkunku could have even started this game and Palmer could have came on. I think Nkunku could have came earlier on. I think it's going to be a little bit of a thing we're going to have to question as the season goes on. But I think Palmer had a 5 out of 10. He was not stinky. He didn't stink up the field, but he was definitely not spectacular. He created some things at times. He looked good at times, but the rest of the game was very inconsistent. I think that could also be someone said with Nani Madueke. Madueke, you could either give a 5 out of 10 to, a 4 out of 10 to, or 6 out of 10 to, technically depending on what you feel. I think it's the middle. I think he gets the same rating as Cole Palmer, but he's been giving a lot of 5 out of 10s. And you can't be giving a lot of 5 out of 10s when you've got guys breathing down your neck. Pedro Neto on the other side gets, I think, a 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 today. He was creating things on both sides. After he got changed out, Noni for Mudryk, it's the simple things. You got to show something, and Neto's done that on both sides this season, both sides of the field. So you got to be looking at this game saying, what can Noni Madueke do that right now someone like Mudryk can't? Or if hopefully Jadon Sancho can come back and he can look okay because he hasn't played in how many games? He couldn't even play today against Arsenal. I don't know. Was he still ill? Does anybody know what happened to Sancho in this one? No idea. So It's another thing that we got to be looking at. I hope Sancho comes back, and I really wanted him to play in this game, but it didn't happen. And I think a lot of us thought he was going to play in this game again, but it didn't happen. And then Sanchez, Jackson up top. Jackson up top gives probably a 6, maybe a 5 as well. There wasn't enough out of Jackson today to prove that he could start. He was the starting striker. He created some good runs. He was holding off the ball well. He could turn well. He was getting in the channels. But again, he wasn't a main striker. Was this game looking for a main striker? Possibly. But at the same time, I don't think this game is totally on a guy like Jackson's fault. But I don't think it was a bad performance from the metrics and from whatever Mikel Arteta was smoking. He thought they dominated this game. That just wasn't the case. Wasn't the case whatsoever. Absolutely not the case. From the metrics and the stats, we had more of the stats, but they had better chances. It's about taking our chances. It's about taking the chances. So, guys, let me know what you think. I think it was, obviously, I said I wanted to win. We didn't get it. We got the draw. We salvaged a point, but we are in third place. We're above the other team from London, Arsenal. It's a game where, again, there was a battle of chances not taken. But we have to be looking on the bright side. It's going to be a friendly run of games starting soon. We got to extend our lead now here in the Champions League. Because from the break from 10th now to 3rd, it's a game. 3 points. Even from 13th. United are in 13th place, and they're at, I think, 15 points. So you can't be looking at this game saying to yourself, wow, man, we have breathing room. There's 4 points for 13th place, a whole 10 spots. We can't let off the gas. We have to be getting wins, 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 wins. It's as simple as that. When we get back, we have Leicester, I'm almost certain, and then Conference League against Heidenheim. Of course, there's no more Carabao Cup for us. We're all done. It makes that loss look even worse, in my opinion, but it is what it is. We look on, we look to the future. That's all we can do. Thank you guys for watching. Should be an episode out tomorrow going over how I think the players have played since the international break. I think it's going to be a fun thing to do to always check up on how the players have played since then. And I think we'll we'll do a player review at the end of the season, how I think players played at the end of the whole year. But there will be hopefully out tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. In the meantime, peace.